Keanu Reeves is talking to, I'm guessing his daughter's boyfriend online, trying to make cover stories. And he didn't know that she had a boyfriend. He's like, "Hello, Mulan." And he thinks he's talking to his girlfriend. So he's like, "Hey, when can you come over?" "I can't, I'm grounded." "Oh, for how long?" And so Keanu thinks for a moment and types in, "Until I'm 18. Oh, that's a good comeback. They just found a solution to the problem they were having earlier. Keanu found out that the reason why the human consciousness and the... Let me pick up my chair real quick. The human consciousness in the robotic body did not work out so well because the brain is looking for a heart and lungs and organs to operate unconsciously. The brain does it all on its own in a very elementary sense. So Keanu was like, we just need to simply program the brain to know that it's in a synthetic body and not to look for those, or you could also create artificial organs for it to have fun with. But that's a very interesting perspective because they just brought up the fact that the reptilian part of the brain, which is the lowest of the lowest of the lowest, its only interest is survival. And it does not have any higher cognitive functions. It's purely grounded animal consciousness. It's literally the... What do you say? Call that saying? Eat, shit, and sleep. That's pretty much the reptilian brain is just pure physical survival. So when the reptilian brain part of us does not detect a heart to pump, does not detect lungs to move, does not detect any systems to function, it kind of freaks out a little bit. So the first implant of the brain or consciousness into that robotic body didn't work because the reptilian brain clicks in that fast. It's like, boom, it's there. Because you need that to survive. If you're not breathing and don't have a heartbeat, you kind of don't have a consciousness, or you don't have a conscious body to support your brain's higher functions. Because our brain kind of needs oxygen to, like, I don't know, talk. So yeah, it's pretty important that happens. I don't know what the symptoms are of not having your reptilian brain in your brain, but I'm pretty sure that if you didn't have that part of your brain, or if you didn't have those functions in your brain, then your heart would stop beating and you would stop breathing, and if you didn't know any of that science, you'd probably not know why, and die with fear, and well, you'd pass out in about 20 seconds or less, and then you die a few minutes later, because the brain still has oxygen even though you're unconscious. It takes quite a bit of oxygen to live while conscious, but it takes much less to be unconscious and still alive. So that's why people can be revived from having their heart stop and they're just fine after a couple minutes. But there's a certain point where the brain loses so much oxygen that there's really no point in reviving them, which I'm sure science and technology will come far enough that we'll be able to just use a little tiny device and keep ourselves alive for hours, days. And I'm getting off topic, but it was a very interesting point they brought up. I like how, as Keanu is preparing to imprint his wife's mind into her brain or her body, he prepares a helmet which looks like a virtual reality helmet, and it's basically a headband with 2 rows of look like magnets in like 3 different parts. So that's like 9 places for electromagnetic activity to take place over the brain, sending electromagnetism into the brain to implant it. I understand this is a sci-fi movie. They probably have advanced technology that we don't know about, or that's even illegal, and definitely not cleared by the FDA. But from a purely scientific perspective of what I know of, that's not gonna work. The EEG scanners that the professionals give you have like, I don't know, like 50, 100 points of contact. Those little dots they have all over your brain, and they all over your scalp, and they have to like use this pasty stuff to make the metal cups stick to your scalp, and you get this like rubbery mesh of, I'll try and find a picture of it on Google. That is like just to give you a rough mapping of the electric activity in your brain. And he's talking about imprinting consciousness and memories and knowledge and skills into her brain, or into the new brain or new consciousness, I don't know. But unless he's just reactivating the brain, which I don't think would be necessary as long as she has brain activity, which he says it does because the brain is controlling the body, then if he's like putting all of her memories back into her brain, he's going to need a lot more than even our current EEG scanners are capable of, because that's details down to the cellular level. And our current EEG scanners only pick up details down to, I think, like 3 millimeters, 2 millimeters. It's not the cellular level. Even for the biggest cells, I don't think it is. Well, a woman's egg is, maybe 2 millimeters. I'm not sure how big it is, but it's the biggest cell in the human body. But, yeah, this thing with metal blocks, 9 metal blocks on the head, good luck. Unless you got advanced technology we don't know about, which in this movie they probably do, and then in real life they just may, then, yeah, good luck. I know the headband is just fake sci-fi stuff, but it showed that the headband was going above and around her forehead, like that far away from it. Yeah, that's a good scale. How big is your hand, David? So, but yeah, it had like a computer monitor, and the headband was going like around the front of her forehead, which I'm like, oh, that's secure. What if, like, you provide a little bit too much voltage to the motor cortex of her brain, and her head suddenly shifts forward real fast? That headset's going to go flying, and you need a lot of detail to copy everything into her brain, and anything just a little bit more than an adjustment from the cellular level is going to mess things up. So the unsecured headband that's like that far from her forehead, like her head jolts like this, it's going to hit the headband, and then she's going to go back down, and the headband is going to follow her. That's a lot of jostling. So really secure, Keanu. I know it's just sci-fi. I'm just separating the sci-fi from the facts of what would happen based on my knowledge. Keanu's getting rid of all the evidence of his daughter having existed. He didn't think this through, and I don't think he's going to get everything. I think he's probably going to leave something behind for them to go, what? So, he might be smart in science, but going through his emotional distress, he's not thinking everything through to cover all of his tracks. Keanu just stabbed himself in the eye with a long needle. I think this is just Hollywood making a big show of everything, because I don't know what he's transferring to that computer, but it's probably not memories. Probably not. Because the needle connects to the optic nerve, which connects to the visual cortex. I'm not sure if it connects directly or not, but all it's doing is taking away his ability to see. Probably. Or it's very much warping his ability to see. I don't think he can get memories or knowledge transferred to his computer through his, uh, what did I just call it? The optic nerve. So probably just another advanced technology. Also, I noticed that he moved his eye when the needle was in his eye. This is another no-no, because he'll rip it up, lose the synovial fluid that's in his eye, screw up his vision, and that's a little bit more challenging to repair than just taking the needle out and letting the eye heal on its own. Which I'm pretty sure if the needle went straight through the lens of the eye, his vision is pretty much screwed, and I think that's just what it did. So, good work Hollywood on putting on a big show and making everyone cringe, but there's not a whole lot of science to back that up. In fact, I'm pretty sure that would be doing a lot more harm than it would be doing good. I don't think sticking a needle in your eye to transfer information from your brain to your computer is very effective. Yes, I know it's sci-fi, but still, come on, couldn't come up with something a little more realistic or explain the hypothetical science behind it? Keanu's daughter, teenage daughter, just had a bad dream of someone dying, and she says, "It felt so real, I'm sure someone died." And he's like, no, it's okay, it's just a bad dream. And she goes, "But it felt so real, someone died." It's beginning to give off hints that Keanu is not as easy as simply wiping memories off a hard drive. This is probably delving into the subconscious, which he probably did not affect. Keanu just had a meeting with his robotic self, and he handled it quite well. And he was completely right. So, it was very interesting. So interesting, in fact, that I would like to put my memories, knowledge, and consciousness into a robot to see what that's like, meeting the robot version of myself. That would be interesting. I would kind of want to step down the ego a bit. I mean, because it's enough having one person thinking they're right. But I definitely would need robot me to be a little bit less arrogant, to listen to me come up with ideas, and I would have to be a little bit less arrogant to listen to my robot counterpart come with ideas. But the robot counterpart would probably have a much more advanced neurological network for a brain, so it'd probably have the processing power of an Intel chip, which is way smarter than we are. The last time a computer was out, the first time a computer was able to outsmart a man in chess and win every game was in the 90s. And look how far we've come in computing power since then. So if this futuristic technology is more advanced than it is now, my robot counterpart would be way more intelligent than me with the same knowledge and memories. So, yeah, I do think I have the humanitarianism and goodwill towards others to definitely not produce problems for myself. In fact, the robot version of me would probably try and produce a better life for me. But I definitely would want to make a less arrogant robot so that it would listen to me. But the relationship between him and the robot was like instantaneous, and they pretty much agreed with each other and knew what the other was thinking, because it's the same personality, the same identity. It's really fascinating. I'm really hoping that if they do make a number 2, which they won't, but if they do make a sequel, I really hope that the robot catches up with him and he's able to explain it to his family, and the robot can become like a second dad-ish kind of thing, or like a weird uncle. That'd be really cool. But I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not sure what happened at the end. Some old guy got wheeled in a wheelchair with a briefcase full of money, and robot Keanu was in there waiting for him. So the bad guy's like, hey, it's time to work. And so robot Keanu turned around and he's like, boot the mapping sequence. So I think what's happening is robot Keanu made a new bad guy body so that he can continue on his deal, basically. So that, like, I think bad guy didn't want to get rich, he just wanted Keanu and his family dead. So robot Keanu killed the bad guy and created another copy of him without all the memories of what had gone on, and basically wrote his brain so that he can manipulate him. So because he has the memories and knowledge of Keanu, he basically set up a plan to make a new bad guy, but in his favor, so that he could probably get what I'm guessing is the owner of the company, or just someone who he needs to have in his plan, come to pay the bad guy money. And I don't know what's going to go on, but I have a feeling that Robot Keanu is going to probably do something to end what the company is doing and bring down the company. And then I hope he joins real Keanu, because that'd be really cool to have Uncle Robo. In fact, it would not hurt my feelings if the people who made this movie made a movie solely dedicated to Robo Keanu. Like, I would watch that. Kind of like having a movie where they dedicate a whole movie to Sonny from iRobot learning to lead the other robots into a better future. I would be less interested in watching that, but the epilogue of iRobot, I would watch iRobot number 2 if it were to exist. But yeah, replicas like iRobot and whatever that one was where can't remember the name of it. Anyways, Johnny Depp recreates himself after uploading his consciousness into computer, comes up with a bunch of nanotechnology, whatever that movie is. So, like that movie and iRobot, I don't think this is going to get a sequel. So it was just showing the potential of doing what that movie did. What was the name of that movie? Just a sec. Allow the color to adjust in my room. The name of that movie was Transcendence. So like Transcendence and iRobot, I don't think Replicas will get a sequel, but I would totally watch. I want a movie with Keanu and Robot Keanu working together. That would be awesome. I'll pay double the theater price to see that. Triple even. That would be really cool. Because, like, Keanu is really calm and scientific in this movie, even though sometimes he's emotionally erratic. And Robo Keanu is like this super intelligent, regular Keanu. And they both kind of like telepathically work together because they're the same person, but one's way more intelligent theoretically than the other, because one has like a supercomputer in its brain. But yeah, definitely watch this movie. Yeah, especially if you're interested in science and science fiction and Keanu. I watched this movie not because of Keanu, but because of the science fiction. So, yeah, this was a cool movie, but they needed to tie up some... Well, they kind of did tie up some loose ends without actually showing it. They just, what's the correct word? Inferred it. So, yeah, it was a good movie. I mean, it was about as good as Transcendence. So, I just wish the good movies like Transcendence, I, Robot, Replicas, they actually have sequels to them. But I don't think they're the kind of movies that are supposed to have sequels. I think they're just the kind of movies that are like, take an idea and introduce the idea to the public so that when the scientists are working on this and come up with it, the public isn't like, oh, that's unnatural. I think it's more like they just make these movies to be like, this is kind of what we're working on, so when we do get it, you already have these movies to introduce you to the idea and make it less of a shock to the public. Like, scientists were like, we're thinking about bringing the dinosaurs back to life. And all of Tumblr and Facebook are like, there's literally 4 or 5 movies showing you why that's a bad idea. So that's pretty funny. But yeah, when I've learned, if you look at the pattern of things, whenever scientists or anyone really questions the ethicality of a new science experiment, it's going to happen. It's not your choice. It's not, well, should driving cars be allowed to drive? It's like, well, who do you want it to, if it gets in an accident, who do you want it to avoid? Do you want it to hit a person you love, or do you want to hit it 5 people you don't know? So what's the better result? And people can argue that all they want, but the fact of the matter is that in like 20-30 years, a lot of cars are going to be self-driving. You're not going to get a choice. It's coming. And I'm not a futurist, I don't think. Let me look that up to make sure I'm not. I'm kind of a futurist, now that I've looked it up on Google. So, yeah, self-driving cars are coming. There's no talking about the ethicalness of crashes. It's going to be here. It's just a matter of time. And that's what these movies are trying to prepare you for, like dinosaurs being recreated genetically. It's coming. They're not asking you ethical questions of, should we do this, should we not do this? No, they're working on it right now, and they've already made their minds that they're going to bring them out and probably try and make money off of them. I mean, they were asking questions of if they should clone a sheep or not. Well, that happened. The sheep lived and the sheep died. And now people are cloning their animals. You can literally pay to have your dog cloned and raise it from a puppy again. So, yeah, these movies are just introducing the ethics and ideas of these things. So, not futurism, Transcendence introduced you to nanotechnology and supercomputing. So it's not a matter of should we do this, it's a matter of this is what we're doing, this is what we want to happen. We're just showing you this for you to not be shocked when it finally comes out. And iRobot is like, this is what we're working on, this is what we want to happen, so don't be shocked when it comes out. I mean, iRobot was like, whoa, those cars are so futuristic, and those wheels, how do they work? Well, Goodyear already has the prototype. They just need to make it safe. And self-driving cars are literally on the roads right now. So it's just a matter of time before we have humanoid robots helping us. And whatever that company that creates robots in California is, they've already got a dog robot with the neck of a Brachiosaurus. And it's supposed to help out around the house. And I'm betting the big dog will be on sale, or a little dog will be on sale too. If you don't know what that is, just look up big dog robot, little dog robot. So they're coming. There's no questions. It's going to be here, and I'm not absolutely not post-apocalyptic guy. I'm just saying here's the patterns. Here's what I'm seeing based on past happenings. This is what's going to happen based on what's already happened. So iRobot's going to come true. Transcendence is going to come true. Replicas is going to come true. Jurassic Park is going to come true. It's just a matter of when they're going to release it, and it would not surprise me at all if some scientist in some secret lab somewhere is doing classified project and literally taking care of real-life dinosaurs, robots, nanotechnology, and futuristic tech right this moment. It would not surprise me at all. But getting back on topic, Replicas is a good movie, so go watch it, especially if you're a fan of Keanu Reeves or have any interest in psychology, neurology, science, computer programming, cloning, whatnot. So go watch it if you like sci-fi and science.